Welcome to week 8. I want to provide some more information on your upcoming group project. So in this class, you will do a group project, which is really a group paper. And don't panic, it usually goes much better than you think. I've been doing this for several years and online, and it usually goes very well. So here's some information. This week, I assigned your teams. So this is on the announcements page. I also emailed this to all of you, so you'll have each other's email address because you are going to want to reach out to one another this week because there is a discussion board due this week that has to do with your group project. So for this assignment, you will write one group paper, and you need to, this week, determine a couple things. So first of all, you're going to want to choose a team lead, so someone can volunteer, or you can discuss it, but someone needs to step up as the team lead for each team or volunteer for that. And then this week, you will do an individual discussion board, and it is in the week 8 folder. So when you go to the week 8 folder, you will see that in the week 8 folder, there's a discussion that you're going to do individually. And this discussion is about your group. So individually, you're going to want to answer these questions about your group. And this is what you need to communicate with one another about. When is the paper due? Who will serve as the team lead? How did you determine your group lead? What's the responsibilities of the group lead? How do you plan to communicate with one another? Who will set up the Google Doc? I'm going to show you how to do that. And then there's 7 components or parts to the paper, and you're going to have to decide who's going to be assigned to research and write the 7 parts. So among the 3 of you or the 4 of you, depending on how many are in your group, you're going to divide out these sections, and you're going to research them and write them in one Google Doc. And as a group, you will submit one paper. And that's usually the group's lead's responsibility to set up the paper. So typically the group lead sets up the Google Doc, continues to communicate with everyone, and me as well, but you can all communicate with me, and submits the paper. The one thing that always causes people problems is someone who waits to the last minute to do this. So I'm asking all of you to not wait to the last minute and make sure you communicate with your group. That's very important when it comes to working on a group project. You're also going to need an introduction and a conclusion for your paper, and so someone should volunteer to do that as well. So you're going to each individually answer those questions in this week's discussion board. And then under papers and presentations is all the information for the strategies for hiring an effective manager group paper information. So in here, it talks about the size of the paper, 1,500 to 1,800 words. It should be in APA format. I want you to remember this is a research paper. So you must research it. You must cite it. And you all should have those citations in there. The requirements are in here, the rubrics in here, as well as a template. So when you go to the requirements, this is the requirements for the paper. Again, as a group, you write one group paper. This is not an opinion paper. I want you to find the information under some reliable sources. I do not want you to meet in person. You should communicate through email. You can meet through Zoom if you want to, but you should work in one Google Doc. And these are the components of the paper. So someone will write a job description for the manager that you're trying to hire. You can decide if you want to hire a specific manager or if you just want to hire a general manager, okay? So then you go look for job descriptions for that type of manager. And you can rewrite it for what you want to do, but you definitely want to research it and determine the type of manager that you want to hire. You're then going to develop a recruiting plan. Your textbook can help with some of this. You're going to list or write about the best practices for interviewing and selecting a candidate. You're going to create or list questions that you would ask in the interview. And again, I want you to research the types of questions that are asked in an interview and cite those, but you can list them in bullet format. Talk about the leadership traits and skills that you desire, the leadership styles, and again, your textbook can be very helpful with this, and the preferred management style that you want for the new manager, and then talk about best practices for orienting and training a manager. So in the end, it's almost like having a textbook on how to go through the hiring process, which is very important when it comes to management. At some point, you'll probably be responsible for hiring somebody or be part of a hiring committee, and this gives you that kind of experience. You're going to then want to open the template that I've supplied. So please use this template, and you can copy the template over, Control C, and then you can go back into My DTCC, and in My DTCC you'll see that there's an area for Google Drive, and that's where you can access the Google Drive in My DTCC. So once you do that, once you're in My DTCC, you'll see under Technology, it lists Google Drive, and that's what you're going to want to click. So once you're in there, you'll go to the Google Drive. You see I have a lot of different things in my Google Drive, but you're going to want to create a new Google Doc, and that will open up a blank Google Doc. And then you're going to want to paste in there the parts of the paper that I just copied over, and you want to name your Google Doc. Okay, so once you copy and paste from the other document, then you want to name your Google Doc, and you can name it, Strategies for Hiring Effective Manager Team 1, but you want to name it, and only one person has to set up the Google Doc. Okay, so there's your title page, so you already have that done, and you'll just want to fill in the names. So you want to fix that, and then this is the template. So someone should volunteer to write the introduction, someone should volunteer to write the job description, and so on and so forth. And someone should create the interview questions, and you can list those just like I have here. These are the other sections, and then ultimately someone should write the conclusion. And then you should also have a reference page. So everyone who does research should add their references, and then someone should go in and edit it and make sure they're in alphabetical order and then it's set up correctly. Once the team lead has the Google Doc set up, you're going to go over here to Share. And under Share, you're going to want to allow access. Once you click on that, this allows anyone with a Delaware Tech email address access as long as you give them access to the link. Now what's important is to change this section where it says Viewer and change that to Editor. That way you're allowing everyone who has this link the ability to edit the document. Okay? So once you're done, you'll ask it to copy the link. So the link is copied, and then that's the link that you want to email to your group as well as me, because I want you to give me access to your Google Doc so I can also provide you feedback. Okay, so once you get your link, here's your link, you're going to want to send that to your group, email it to everyone as well as me, so that I can also access your group paper. Once you get the link, the thing I want you to know is the only way you'll be able to get in here is if you go through My DTCC. If you're going in through another way or using a different email address, the group lead will have to give you access to it. So if you try to go in and it says you don't have access, you can request access, and that's probably why it's happening. So get that done this week, or get it started. Talk with your group and assign a lead, and that person will ultimately be the one who will submit your group document to me in the end. It's important that you all write your sections, but then it's also important that everybody proofread them. I want you to give one another feedback and take a look at it, and I'll do that as well. So, it's important not to wait till the last minute. Please let me know if you have any questions, and good luck.